So the question is really about the distinction between perfectionism and mastery, and how you know when you're pursuing one versus the other. Is that the question? It's something I've spent a lot of time thinking about. I think about it when I'm in artist studios. I thought about it when I was watching those archers. One of the distinctions is that mastery requires that you stand on a very internal landscape, looking at that gap between where you are and where it is that you want to go. And it often looks very different to you than it does to the outside world. I've quoted the different masters, Cezanne and Faulkner and others, in part because I wanted to remind us that even when, say, The Sound and the Fury was published and went on to its acclaim, he didn't yet think that it met his goal. There was still a gap for him between where it was and where he wanted it to go. And that gap is what propels mastery. It's what lets it be, lets the endeavor be a journey, because it's never really done, right? One example of this, maybe the most extreme example, is that of Franz Kafka, who saw incompletion where others would find only works to praise, right? So much so that he wanted all of his manuscripts, letters, diaries, and more sketches to be burned upon his death, right? He didn't think that they met his goal. One of the works, The Trial, is so incomplete that it was published but even stops mid-sentence. He was still trying to close that gap. And I look at Franz Kafka and don't think that there was perfectionism involved. I think it was this very internal landscape that you start to understand when you get in touch with what someone's own intentions are for their work, not what the world's intentions are for them. That's so much of the work, the sort of soul work, sort of spiritual work of what it means to be in an artist studio. That's why I'm honored to do the work that I do at Yale School of Art. Perfectionism, I guess it's almost a moot point at this stage to say it's really dealing more with what the external world would have you do, opposed to what it is that you would like to do to close that gap between where you are and where you want to go.